Yo, what is going on, everyone? I'm back with another video, and for today's video I'm going to be talking about limiteds that you should invest in for Christmas inflation. So Roblox has recently released headless, and because so many people want this item, a lot of people had to sell their limiteds in order to get headless, which comes out once a year. In a result, a lot of these demand items have dropped a lot from their previous value. And it's a great way to take advantage of these values and make profit, because in a few months all these items are going to go up like crazy because of Christmas inflation, which is when people buy a lot of Robux and they spend it on limiteds. The best items you want to invest in are items that have good demand, because these are the items that are going to sell a lot of copies during Christmas. Therefore, they'll just keep going up in price. So the first item is, I think, a no-brainer. It's the Duper Fly Cap, and this thing has great demand. And right now it's 17k. You could probably get it for a little bit cheaper. And this is the item on Rollymons right here. So as you guys can see, last year it was around 50k at its peak, and it has since dropped to 20k. So I predict it'll probably go back to that 50k mark in a few months, and before that it was 55k. So yeah, you could definitely make a lot of profit here. The next item is the Duper Fly Cap, because it is an exact replica of the Duper Fly Cap, but it is instead purple. Now this one costs a little bit more typically than Duper Fly Cap, because it is valued a slight more ahead of the Duper Fly Cap. These items are pretty much the same, just the purple one is slightly better because of the color. I believe there's less copies too, and this one typically is higher at Christmas than the Duper Fly Cap. So on Rollymons, this one only reached 50k as well. So it might be worth it just to buy the Duper Fly Cap instead. But before that, it was previously 60k. So I think the Duper Fly Cap one is worth more, because it is cheaper, it's 4k less value, and they'll go up to the same mark. But really, both of these items are going to raise like crazy. The next item is one of the most popular and classic items on Roblox, and it is the PerfectlyLegitimate Business Hat. This hat is very popular. There are a ton of copies, over 400,000 copies of this item. And you should be able to get this for 5k if you are lucky. And this thing right now is valued at 7k value. And typically during Christmas, this thing goes up to around 14k, sometimes even more. So this one isn't as much growth as Duper in my opinion. But if you have less Robux, definitely chase for this item. And if you have a lot, you could buy tons of copies of Legitimate Business Hat. And as they go up like crazy, the more profit you make. So looking on Rollymons, last year it was at the 16k mark. And previously it did reach 20k for a very brief period of time. But I don't think it will hit the 20k mark this year. My prediction is it'll probably be 16k for a tiny bit, and it'll probably be 14k for the longest time. This item is also a great item to start trading with. So if you want to buy an item, keep it for a little bit of time and then start trading at Christmas, I definitely recommend this as a starter item. The next item is a highly underrated item. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to making profit, and it is the ultimate pink victory. This thing was selling for 40k Robux literally 2 months ago, and now it is only 13k. You might be able to get it for even cheaper, probably like 12,500 if you're lucky. On Rollymons, as you guys could see, this thing was 42k value for such a long time, and this item is really close to Duper, honestly, when it comes to the profit range. This one might even be better profits in terms of percentage. But as you guys can see, it dropped instantly as it got closer to October. but it was 42k for a long time. Previous year it was 40k for a brief period of time, but last year it stayed 42k for a long time. So this item is definitely another good item that I recommend that you hoard for Christmas time. Another very hyped item, the Tentacles Jr. This thing was absolutely crazy when it came out. I did not expect this to be worth what it was when it first came out. It was 95k at the peak. That blows my mind. This thing was 95,000 Robux value. And it was selling for it sold for 95,000 back then. So yeah, this thing is crazy. I don't think it will go back to that 95,000 Robux price tag that it was, because let's be real, this thing had such crazy demand when it came out. It seems like the hype has slowed down, but I definitely think this thing will go back up at Christmas. My prediction is 60k Robux, maybe 50k Robux. This thing will be right up there with Supa, maybe even higher. If you guys have the Robux, I recommend this over Supa. It's a higher risk, but definitely a higher reward if it pays off. But there's a huge chance, there's a chance that this thing could be a better win than Supa. So yeah, on the Rolling Mons page, as we can see, this thing came out earlier this year. It was 95k value for, honestly, only for a brief period of time, and then it started dropping like crazy. But I definitely do think it'll go up to around 50k, 60k mark come Christmas time. And the last item we obviously have to include the Mist Tentacles. This is a retexture of Dr. Ishmael, and it's basically the same as Tentacles Jr., just without the hat. This thing will probably go up as well, and I think this one will be a little bit less than Tentacles Jr., but it will still be worth a lot, maybe 50k my prediction. And right now it's cheaper than Tentacles Jr. It's, you know, 12,999. You could definitely get this thing for 12,000 Robux if you're patient. And yeah, so this thing was, I believe, around 60k at its peak. So on the Rolling Mons page, this thing's peak was 65k right when it came out. And this is the same peak that was around the time of Tentacles Jr. So they both dropped around the same time period. It's now 16k value. And yeah, so it's 4k less than the Tentacles Jr. right now. So that will be it for this video. If you guys have any other items that you think were left out of the list or are underrated, just put them in the comments down below and suggest them to the viewers, because I believe that there are a lot more items than this. These are just my personal favorites that I feel like will do the best. They have the most potential. If you guys agree with this list, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.